going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video till it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sign show area. So run those likes up. It's free 99. It don't cost you nothing. Speaking of free 99, you can also donate to the platform, of course, $Consciouztv. Spelled just how it is here on the platform, and or paypal.me. Also spelled just how it is here on the platform. That's conscious with a Z on the end. Also, make sure that you guys have a notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the king is in fact kinging. And last but not least, okay, now we're to the last shot. Share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the like. Let's let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Hi. Happy Saturday. So sorry for the wait. I end up taking my precious time. I'm so sorry about that. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I am not going to wish you guys happy 4th of July because F the 4th of July. I told you guys me and America are legally separated right now. Plus, I don't do man-made holidays. And we all know that black folk ain't never been free. So what the hell are we really celebrating? Okay, all them fireworks need to be from the damn Tommy bombs we dropping on top of the damn chess players and the creators and authors of this damn confusion that melanated people done got trafficked in. Okay, but that's another story for another damn day. I've had a wonderful weekend. I actually went out of town for the 4th of July. It was like a day trip, got back home, and now we're here because there is a lot going on. All right, now, you guys know YouTube been playing on my head top, so I need you guys to run that up. Yes, no mess, child, no mess. You know, so funny, y'all. Side note, I guess. Hold on. So y'all know, speaking of the mess, I told you I had fucked up my beard, right? But then I had grew it back in, and I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of experiment, because y'all know I get bored. When I get bored with my eyebrows, I start putting slashes in them, as you guys can see. When I get bored with my beard, I start, you know, like I just need to do something every now and again. You know, the spirit of switch it up just hits me. So I got to switch it up. So I was like, what do I really want to do? So I'm still experimenting, but I came across this little like beard style where the men are wearing them with this like cut in their beard. Okay, you guys can see here. Oh, that's cut up, child. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I started slashing shit. I disconnected like my mustache, partially from my goatee line. You know, and I'm just like, you know, I kind of like to look like a damn superhero or hell, a super damn villain. I kind of go for like a supernatural, very stylistic appearance. So, I always got to press the gas when it come on the visual, child. It's just an artist in me. So, I'm kind of liking this, like, vampire, angel in disguise he was, but somehow you fell for her. Okay, I look like I could be guarding the throne of God. Mhm. Or maybe I was one of those angels that came down and fucked the shit out of human women and, got them pregnant with them hybrid children called the Nephilim who, reigned the earth in terror. Mm. I don't know. Or maybe I'm like Cupid 2.0. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just a fucking psycho. That could be it too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Y'all know I'm extra. Y'all know we're extra around these parks, girl. I don't know why the creator built me this way. That's why my milkshake brings all the boys to the heart. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Rashonda. Thank you. Yeah. Who brought up the Jacksons? Somebody said the Jacksons. Who brought up the Jacksons? Hold on. Was it Rashonda? I think Rashonda says, girl, Janet Jackson vampire. Y'all know I love the Janets, especially the 80s, early 90s Janet and Michael and Toya, because they had like that super stylistic, dark hair, baby hair central. I live for the aesthetics of the Jacksons during the 80s, 90s era. That's my anyway. We ain't here to get into that, child. Okay. Now that you guys are in the building, continue to run those lights up. We got to get into some things. So you guys know there's been a lot going on with this damn Diddy trial. My God, like the so-called influencers are beefing for dollars because what else are they going to resort to but clowns who are in a clown show? Then there's been like a lot of fallout since Diddy's verdict. All right, you guys know that he was pretty much acquitted of the major charges that he was facing, the RICO / racketeering situation. Okay, so Diddy is no longer facing life in prison thanks to a grand jury who did not feel that prosecution did their job in proving RICO or racketeering, even though some of us beg to differ. Okay. Now he's stuck with trafficking, Cassie, and Dane Doe, and I believe prostitution, facing up to 20. A lot of legal experts are expecting him to pretty much walk. He'll probably maybe be sentenced at most a year or two in prison, get out on good time, serve the rest on probation. Nobody really, at least on the legal end, is thinking that he's going to do the maximum, which is 20 years. However, things got really interesting when his family came out of that courthouse, bank head bouncing, thinking that, Daddy Combs was about to, come home and give them access to his checking account, girl, when the judge denied Diddy bail. All right, so Cassie's attorney and her stylist had wrote into the judge saying that, look, this niglet is a threat and a harm to all of us who took a chance on the feds trying this case against Diddy, and we're in fear for our life. This man has a documented history of violence, etc., which was proven throughout the trial as well. Also, Combs' attorneys had messed around and also admitted during trial at different interims that their client had been abusive too. Hold on, y'all. There's bombs over Baghdad. I'm discerning sounds. You know, because niggas think that I won't call 911 on them, even though it is July the 5th, girl. July the 4th was yesterday. I will call 911 today because it is July the 5th. Why do we have fireworks in the air? Is it time for 911? Okay. So, all of that is going on, right? So now he is in jail until October the 3rd when he gets his, oh, my damn nose ring fell. When he gets his bail sentencing, you guys. There's a lot of anticipation around what the verdict is going to be, what the judge is going to do. Is he going to get the max? Is he going to get the minimum? Is he going to get somewhere in between? Obviously, this doesn't look good for Diddy in all actuality, considering that his bail got denied. It means that prosecution successfully persuaded the judge to think of Combs as someone who poses a threat. And once again, he is found guilty of 2 counts. So he is not a completely acquitted man. He is a criminal by that measure. And how this is going to weigh out, girl, it's going to be very fascinating. I have a feeling that the judge isn't going to give Diddy the max, but he's more than likely also not going to give Diddy the minimum either. It's going to be something that's going to result in Diddy getting enough of a paddle to his ass to ensure that when he is out, he's on his best behavior. So I think the judge is going to consider the victims, are going to consider the witnesses in this case. But it's not going to be maximum either, because kind of historically, men don't sit around for 20 years for the charges that Diddy is facing, from what I gathered from the legal experts who have been reporting on this case in this aftermath. So I think it's going to be right in the middle. Okay. Well, since then, Cassie and Diddy have both found themselves sued by one of their male escorts. Is it Dave Howard? But I'm trying to figure out, where did I get Clayton from? Is Dave is Clayton a pseudonym? I don't understand, because I could have sworn I've been reading about a Clayton Howard, but this escort that's been on a press tour have in fact been calling himself David, okay? Now, matter of fact, while we're here, his name is Clayton, okay? I'm about to say, I know my eyes might be playing tricks on me, but my ears damn sure are not. Okay, I want to do something here really quick. You guys showing those lights up again. Let me pull this up. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find this on Google super quick. I want to, here it is. Here's the roster. This is what I was looking for right here. Let me see here. Remember, during the trial, the feds did present a list of the escorts hired by Diddy and Cassie. And remember, we was going, we were doing a little America's Next Top Model, rank and file, rank and file, rank and file, rank and file. Now, while there were a few cuties, on their radar that they had provide services to them, it would be safe to say that Clayton was on the Cassie was definitely drugged up list. Remember when the escorts began to go from cute to deeply questionable? And I was saying that when the list gets questionable, that must have been when the ketamine was kicking in, the cocaine was kicking in, the Molly was kicking in, girl. Like, you can literally see a dissension in Cassie's taste, okay? As she, became more of a drug addict throughout the course of her and Diddy's relationship. And I'm going to definitely assume that Mr. Clayton Howard found himself, definitely counting his lucky stars, because it had to be the Coquiana that had Cassie any mini mighty mowing through back page of Craig's list for used and refurbished penis. Now, this commentary is going to be, it's going to be a lot going on, you guys. Okay, I'm going to just let you guys know that right now. Clayton Howard has gotten on my last nerve. Clayton Howard is definitely a motherfucking clown. This man has contradicted himself more time than Trump's talking points during the campaign trail, girl. Like, I can't even deal with this man no more, okay? I just endured Unwind with Cardi B's Money's interview with Mr. Clayton Howard, girl. You guys definitely should be paying me reparations for enduring all of this, okay? I had to literally take 18 pages worth of motherfucking notes. 18 pages worth of notes. Oh, yes, frontwards and backwards, girl. Frontwards and backwards. I had to listen to an hour of this mess, girl. And I don't care for Mr. Clayton Howard. There's a lot going on with him. This whole entire case is a show. Everybody in it is one of the turds in the toilet, from Cassie to Jane and every John Doe to Diddy himself. And that's what makes this entire case a wash and a rinse. Okay? It makes it so convoluted because everybody is, in fact, a stinking hot motherfucking mess. All right? So I'm going to get into the notes from Unwind with Tasha Coochie K's interview, girl. So just bear with me. We're going to go through a chronological ordeal here. All right. So once again, the name of this male escort is Clayton Howard. Okay. He met Cassie and Diddy back in 2011. Okay. He was hired by Cassie to participate in an XCX-a-thon. Okay. This was a freakathon. We be all night. All right. And this freakathon lasted for 2 freaking days with another XCX worker by the name of David Phillip. Okay. And the name of the Squid Game was that whomever lasted the longest would end up as Cassie's main boy toy forever. Okay. At least until erectile dysfunction, set in. Mr. Howard won. He says that Diddy told him that Cassie said that he was the best peen she'd ever had, and that he was paid $5K on average, but got $11,000 for the freakathon win, and then had SCX 4 days in a row with her in Miami. All right. Girl, I can just smell the Astroglide off the notes, bitch. I can just smell the Astroglide off of the notes. Wait a minute, girl. I just missed one of my damn notes, shall. And I can't afford to. Hold on, y'all. I got so much down here. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Wait a minute. What the? Hold on. Oh, girl, we might have to. I might have to skip a page, y'all. Hold on. We may have to skip a mother page. Hold on. Cause we be all night. We be all night. Okay, so the problem is I'm not actually missing a page, but I'm definitely missing some motherfucking notes. Oh, here it is. I was about to say, I might have lost my mind, but I damn sure ain't lose my motherfucking notes. All right. Throw that to the floor. And we're back. And cute, of course. All right. So he said he also only got paid once in a low number, okay, which was $1,500, okay, because he was averaging on $5K a freak off, $11,000 for the freak off-a-thon. And there was one time he got paid $1,500. And it was because he could barely perform, according to him, due to being drugged the hell out of his damn mind to something that Diddy had allegedly given him, okay? He says that he was the big dick field slave that Cassie and Diddy kept on standby to make Cassie come, that he never had to perform oral sex on her, just stretch her out and make her skeet. He also never had to kiss her, even though she would kiss him, which he's now totally disgusted by, considering that he now knows that other XEX workers were urinating down her motherfucking throat. Says Diddy should be given a fair trial, and prosecution shouldn't be withholding evidence that paints Cassie as some holier-than-thou woman. Says that Diddy was abusive, but not because she would resist freak-offs, but because she would cheat on Diddy with the XEX workers, as if that justifies Dizzy stumping, beating, and rolling her ass up like a damn blunt and smoking her ass down to the filter, as if it justifies that. Says that Diddy would also DB Cassie for emasculating him about his Tootsie Roll size peen, and that the escort did confirm that Diddy's dang did not have no lang. Okay? I'm going to reiterate that again. Remember, there was a lawsuit that was filed, within the third week of the trial by some woman claiming that Diddy had essayed her with his Tootsie Roll size peen, but that she kind of wasn't scared to be great by him once she saw his penis because she felt like it would not hurt. Okay? Well, the escort confirmed that Diddy did have a Tootsie size roll penis, and that his danga did not have no langa in it. Says Diddy was very insecure that Diddy would compete with him to make Cassie skeet, that Diddy would jump inside of her after the escort was done if Cassie was orgasming too freaking hard, okay? Because he said that when he would pull out of Cassie, Cassie would be shaking and seizuring like a hooked worm, after he would pull that big prostitute penis out of her. And Diddy had to get in on the action and would attempt to also try to make her orgasm. Says that he and Diddy never had any sexual contact, which a lot of people do not believe, we'll get into that, Diddy had little meat, big pockets, and I quote, and said that women will throw all of their self-worth and morality out of the window if a man has a lot of money. I was thinking to myself, child, Kevin Samuels must be somewhere in somebody's purgatory feeling very vindicated at this damn point. Women, do y'all agree that y'all would throw all y'all dignity and self-worth and everything that Christ worked so hard in his life and death and resurrection to give to y'all, all for an expensive Klondike bar and a high-valued man? Would y'all agree? Would y'all agree? Says Cassie was young and horny, and she was with all the shits. Okay? Says Cassie tried to turn him out by indoctrinating him into the swingers lifestyle, even though he was already a paid hoe before she ever even recruited him. So I was thinking, like, what the hell are you talking about? How she had to indoctrinate you into the swingers community, baby, and you was already swinging for a SNAP benefits card before she ever even introduced herself to you, girl. She found you on ho.com, girl. She found you on ho.org. So how in the hell did she have to introduce you to a damn thing? Make it make sense, girl. Okay, I told y'all my brain was it was dying listening to this man, girl. Okay, his thought patterns were all type of crisscross and zigzag. This wasn't making no damn sense. Y'all run those lights up. We need all of that. Okay. Says that Cassie would invite him to strip clubs and would talk to him about how her and Diddy would hook up with other couples. And I was thinking somebody need to go check on Oprah. And Stedman, bitch, is there TB and spell? Okay. Says that because of this, he was flabbergasted when she said on the stand that she was forced to endure freak-offs. Said he never saw her pushing against it. If anything, according to him, she was the ring damn leader. Okay? Says even though Cassie and Diddy were swinging, that they still had a monogamy clause within their relationship, which was that Cassie couldn't hook up without Diddy's presence, but Cassie was effing him behind Diddy's back. Says Diddy never made Cassie do anything. But I was thinking he can really only speak to his perception and his knowledge. I mean, he had like he lived with Diddy and Cassie. He had like he had insight into the conversations they had going into these freak-offs, as if, you know, he was having pillow talk with them. You don't know what Diddy and Cassie's arrangement was. Cassie already said that she is a freak-nick 98 ass type of a hoe, and some parts of this shit she enjoyed. But then there were days where, girl, she wanted to let her pussy rest. There was days, girl, where she wanted to let her sore throat rest, girl. There was days where she wanted her urinary tract to be functional, girl. She was tired of burning 7 days a damn week, okay? And that Diddy had all type of ways of punishing her if she was not compliant. After all, this was a man who had her stuck in a 10-album contract and was in control of her entire career. And she understood after falling in love with him, after he love-bombed her at a very young age, that there were certain things it was going to take to make him happy. There were certain kinds of things it was going to take to get on his good side. And so while she was in love with him, she also understood that there would be consequences and repercussions to disobeying him. He had, at this point, too much dirt on her, and more importantly, once again, had her entire career dangling over her like a damn carrot in front of a donkey, to feel that she could totally object to his desires, to his twisted fantasies, And so the power dynamics informed her and made her bow down to some of these things. And sometimes her natural desire and her natural submissiveness also made her participate. She recognized both of those damn things. But my whole point is that, nigga, Crash Bandicoot, you ain't know what the hell the understanding was. You ain't know that if before you came to that hotel, Diddy had jacked her motherfucking ass up and said, you better nut on that dick. You better truffle butter on that dick. You better hoot and holler and baby oil it up, bitch, or I'm dangling your ass over a mother balcony. And she acquiesced by saying, yes, daddy. Okay, so you don't know how much of what you saw when you thought Cassie was complicit was just Cassie being performative. You don't know how much of what you saw when you thought she was being a willing participant was her acting and acquiescing to her dude who also was her boss. Okay? You don't know that. Moving along. Says Diddy's role in the freak-offs would be more of a protector, like a pimp, a supervisor, if you will. Says Diddy was very protective of Cassie. Says that the feds didn't put him on the stand. Before we even get there, girl. Now, the gag about him sitting in front of Unwind with Cardi B's money, telling her all of the salacious, funky, disgusting, skid draws, details of his excursions with Diddy and Cassie. Unwind with Tasha is just sitting there acting like she not a squirrel, listening to another squirrel talk about squirrel things. She just... And I'm like, bitch, ain't you the same one who allegedly also got a whole swingers relationship to Shaq? Ain't you the same one who had an underground layer, a whole noise reducing closet downstairs in your house, a whole secret compartment, girl, where you and Shaq will hook up with other men, where he would make love to your dry coochie ass because you, according to you, can't take no dick, and you didn't want your screams and distress vibrating through the walls, waking up the newborn baby that you sent to Africa to be a damn child soldier? Huh? She acted like she ain't about that life when she had two notable men this year come out and say that they done smashed and dashed on her in that secret noise cancellating closet in her old Georgia home that's now Cardi B's home as a result of recouping on those assets. So it was just funny to me that she was sitting her for the streets ass up there acting like she don't know sign language too. Acting like she ain't a master in the Kama Sutra book too. Girl, she up there acting like her virgin ears are being popped, girl, when she know all about the baby oil and the diddler behavior, girl. Just allegedly go ask Whack 100 why. Just go ask Dr. Larry Reed, right, Trasher? So while you were sitting there acting all fake ass appalled, bitch, you should have been spinning the chair, reflecting on your own Cassie Horani adventures between 2017 and 2022. Bitch. Moving along. Says, where we at? Okay. Says that Diddy's role in the freak-offs, okay, would be more of a protector, yes. Says that the feds did not protect him, y'all. Oh, well, not protect him, girl. They didn't put him on the stand because they knew that he was going to tell the truth and blow the entire case, because they knew that he knew that Cassie wasn't some trafficked victim. So he would have threw the case had he acted as a star witness for them. Says even though Cassie was complicit, that Diddy is still guilty of sex trafficking. Says because Diddy financed the freak-offs, knew about them, and benefited from them, that he's guilty of a lot of things. So I had surmised that his only issue with the Fed's case was not the charges, but their narrative regarding Cassie being a victim of the freak-off specifically. He does agree that she also was a victim of DV, aka domestic violence. Says that he can corroborate Diddy having an alias, Frank Black, because every time he checked in, he was checking in under Diddy's pseudonym, Frank Black. Says he also witnessed Diddy physically abusing Cassie on 5 different occasions. And I want you guys to keep all this in mind, because everything that I'm quoting from him, everything that I'm referring and extracting from his interview with Unwind with Cardi B's Bitcoins is going to come back to bite him in the ass. And I would not be surprised if his little lawsuit girl went bye-bye very early on because of this interview alone. Says Cassie told him that he had gotten her pregnant but had aborted the child. Shout out to Cassie. Now, I was thinking, okay, he's suing her in part for this, which of course is meritless, because women don't have to consult with men about terminating a pregnancy in their body. And he also said that he was a fool to believe that he was Cassie's only boy toy. So I'm thinking, well, then if you eventually found out that Cassie had a lot of boy toys, she had a lot of G.I. Joe figurines in her box, figuratively and literally, the reality is that baby could have been anybody's damn baby. It could have been any of the damn 12 peens on the screens, baby. It could have been Diddy's baby. Hell, Cassie admitted, girl, that she was doing so much drugs and she was so traumatized and she was so overstimulated and so damn diseased up, baby, that she just blacked out for weeks at a time just to make it through freak-offs that she would endure weekly. So sometimes, girl, she didn't know what the hell was going on due to the drugs that she was enduring and the trauma she was experiencing. So Cassie might have also been under the belief that it was your big head ass baby. But the reality is it could have been anybody's child. And you should be thanking Cassie that she did not bring another black man into the world who would have been experiencing male pattern baldness by the age of 30. Okay? Keep them niggas in the womb, bitch. Now, he goes on to say that any money the feds made off of this case should go toward the true victims, such as the sex workers, aka himself, girl, because he was essentially traumatized by all of this. Okay? Now, the gag here is he paints Cassie as no victim, a hoe for show, but thinks that the male prostitutes were victims. Even though every argument he made for Cassie being a willing participant who could just walk away at any time are also equally arguments that applies to his dumb, ball, wet in the mouth, black lip ass. I was like, girl, how in the hell you think you more of a victim than Cassie, and you came into the group chat as a damn criminal? Do you know that prostitution is illegal? The nigga said prostituting was his side hustle because he was a convicted convict. So you were an ex-con navigating the free world, still doing criminal ass shit like prostituting and swinging pain. And yet you don't think Cassie is a victim at all, aside from a nigga going up her head a few times, but that you and all the male victims are absolutely victims and should be entitled to reparations and compensations. Oh, this is what you call bitch audacity. Y'all know when I be thinking about, I finally put my finger on it. I was like, you know, what in the hell was the original sin? The original sin of men, the original sin of the angels. And I realized the original sin wasn't disobedience. The original sin wasn't even arrogance. The original sin was motherfucking audacity, bitch. Because if it's anything that a free will entity out of God's creation gonna be, bitch, it's gonna be motherfucking audacious. Okay, the same way the angels had the audacity to think that they could deceive God of all people, girl. Ain't they call it the all-seeing eye, bitch? Okay, you are the damn eye, bitch. Okay, your eyes, God's eyes. How you think you defrauding God, baby? Okay, the audacity for the angels to think that they could actually rise up and overthrow God's throne like them insurrectionists did, baby, to Biden's administration. How you had the audacity to think that you was going to overpower the motherfucking creator? Okay, the audacity of Adam and Eve, baby, to disobey God and think that God's word wasn't going to come to pass. The audacity to think that they could run and hide behind some fig trees to hide them horny genitals of theirs, girl. Well, but y'all gonna hide it if there's one thing man and angel got in mind. It is audacity. Oh, yeah. Audacity. Mm-hmm. It goes on to say, where we at? This is page what, 5? Okay, page 6. Says that he's in law school currently, trying to become an attorney. So all this, you know, coming back up now due to this trial is humiliating. Sir, you find the public knowing about all this to be the humiliating part. Shouldn't you be more humiliated by your personal choices? You know, the ones that led to being public fodder, the ones that you're not humiliated enough to keep out of a motherfucking book. Okay. The actions that led to you participating in something that would come back to harm, to humiliate you all. You are more bothered by the fact that everybody knows than you do about literally your own intimate participation and part in all of this. Sir, you are pressed to paint Cassie as an old victim, yet you admitted to watching Cassie being assaulted on multiple occasions by Diddy, and you did nothing. Not even call the goddamn po-po, nor did you pull the goddamn fire alarm or intervene to any extent. So my question to you, Mr. Dingalang, is what does that say about you, Clayton? You were just as complicit as you claim Cassie was. You were a hooker who went through with all of this because, in your own words, you benefited from the check, just like you claim Cassie did. So by your own logic, you and Cassie are actually two peas in the same pod. You're two sides of the same coin, yet you paint yourself as more of a victim, an actual victim, a authentic victim than she is. And I can see this interview is going to damage the living dog shit out of your little civil lawsuit. Oh, yes, it is. Says that the feds didn't protect him or his image or care about his safety, yet opened the interview off talking about how he had to go to war with Tyrone Blackburn, who wanted to keep him out of the case because he had already had a book out that the feds took interest in, which chronicled his entire ordeal with Cassie and Diddy. And also talked about how the feds already knew about him due to him already being out here trying to get on a press tour about his experience. So when I tell you guys this man was talking out of both sides of his motherfucking neck and reaching far and wide to be a victim while actively contradicting himself, it was as unbelievable as Tasha K's femininity. It was just that unbelievable, girl. Just that unbelievable. Just that unbelievable. How in the hell you mad? You fake mad they didn't protect you while forgetting that you're also showboating about how you was already in contact with the feds for a year, that you already had a book you was pushing, you had already written up a rough draft of that people could pre-order on Amazon. And yet the feds didn't protect you. Are you okay? When speaking about the infamous hotel beating footage, Mr. Dangling said that why didn't the sex worker who was in attendance testify? He believes it's because that SCX worker would have told the truth, just like him, that Cassie left not because she didn't want to freak off, but because she had gotten access to Diddy's phone and gotten jealous from the contents in it, and that Diddy was running after his property because he said he had seen Cassie jealous of other women and always trying to see who was texting and communicating with the dead love. The only issue I have with this part of his hypothesis is that Diddy didn't just try to retrieve his phone, even if that was the context of Diddy running after her. He also happened to beat and stomp and drag her ass back to his dungeon. So what in the hell does retrieving a phone have to do with all of the ass whipping and DV and abuse and violence that took place? Make it make sense. Says Cassie called him 3 weeks after the hotel incident to come do a freak off in Miami. So to him, once again, she's no victim. Especially not of these freak offs. Says that he doesn't know why the defense didn't call him. Neither the defense nor the feds called on those. Oh, well, here's why they didn't call on him, okay? Neither did the defense nor the prosecution call on him because neither one were interested in having those be witnesses who had already been doing interviews or who had books out, wink, wink, because both parties were afraid and in fear of witnesses appearing tainted and insincere. When it comes to a trial, you don't want witnesses who have had a lot of exposure to the public prior to a trial. Okay? The idea is a non-tainted jury pool. Diddy's defense was so adamant about this, baby, they didn't call one goddamn witness to the stand on his behalf. Says that he wasn't in love with Cassie, but had a strong emotional tie to her due to the intensity and frequency of their actual involvement. Says Puffy did not hold Cassie back from anything, and definitely not from a damn career, but that Cassie was lazy and rested on just dating a high-profile man, hence her statement, quote, who else was I going to go to if I left since Jay-Z was already taken? Now, y'all didn't tell me that Cassie had said all that. Y'all know I was in and out of the trial, baby. My empathy couldn't do it, girl. The case was too hellish. Y'all didn't tell me that Cassie said, who in the hell else was she going to have as an option had she left Diddy since Jay-Z was already taken? Now, y'all know how we do here on the Consciouztv platform. We allow the pendulum to swing from left to right and right to left. So I got to tug on what's remaining of Cassie's fusions. To this whole talking point by the manosphere, by the red incel pill sector of society, Cassie definitely gave enough, said enough, articulated enough for people to believe that she too was objectifying Diddy, just in a different way than Diddy was objectifying her, which is not illegal, by the way. I want to be clear about that, because my issue with the red pill community using that talking point is, okay, you're talking about something that can be made a moral argument out of. But we're talking about a man who has been found guilty of criminality. You can argue that people should not gold dig, that people should not use people, that people should really love people and not want to be with them because of their fame or their proximity or their money. But all of those are moral arguments, not criminal ones. So even if Cassie was a young, hot in the panties girl, willing to do whatever the fuck it took for her to get from point A to point Z, that bitch wanted to cross the entire alphabet, baby. Okay, successfully. Even if that was the case, there was something criminal about her doing that. After all, Diddy was equally objectifying her. She looked at him as a means to an end, as a big paycheck for the sake of a lifestyle, while Diddy valued her not because he loved her, but because she was young, which means that she was naive and more easily impressionable and controllable, and because she was beautiful. So you can actually argue and being fair that both people superficialized each other, both individuals objectified one another. But the difference here is that Diddy is on the stand for crimes he allegedly committed. A lot of the talking points around Cassie are moral arguments, not per se criminal ones, even though Cassie wasn't no angel either. I mean, she did get hooked on drugs, okay, but that's another story for another day. All right. Now, where was I? What was I? Hold on. Okay, yeah. So she said, who was I going to be with? Because Jay-Z was already taken. And once again, look. That statement is loaded, okay? That statement definitely proves that Cassie looked at men as a lick, okay? I mean, after all, she was dating a producer before P. Diddy had groomed her into his grips, okay? So Cassie, even outside of Diddy, was an opportunist. She had an opportunist mindset. And once again, I ain't mad at her, baby. I ain't mad, but baby, use what you got to get what the hell it is you want. Just try not to break the law in doing so. I ain't mad at it. But, yes, to be fair, Cassie was no sweet angel. She was young. She was hot. she was opportunist, and she wanted the big wigs for the sake of a lifestyle and career boost. Okay? And her thinking that there were no available men if they weren't billionaires and multimillionaires like Jay-Z and Diddy. Woo, child, baby. That got some spit shine on it. All right? Now, once again, to him, Cassie is to blame for all her problems. But he gets to blame Cassie and Diddy for all of his. Make it make damn sense. This is why lawyers tell their clients to shut the fuck up, because they word bomb it and it ends up exposing them up before they even can get their case off of the goddamn ground. Says Cassie just didn't play her cards as well as Young Miami did. Wow. Well, I'm going to assume since he ended up broke, stuck in nowhere, and now needs to grift off of this federal trial, that he did not play his cards as well as Cassie did. Because unlike him, Cassie never fell and descended into brokenness, baby. All right? Now, here's where it gets interesting for Tisha Tells. Okay? Mr. Dangling says that Tisha tells lots of lies and made a slanderous, very defamatory video about him. So, you guys can let Tisha know that she better sit some of that Diddy trial coin to the side, because the SCX workers are working overtime for their next bag, and by any means necessary. Says that in 2019, Puff caught him after not hearing from Puff for 2 years to see if he wanted to come through. He says he was down, listen to this, because it was around Christmas, so he could really use the money at that time. So the gifts to his family were going to be hooker sponsored. What a motherfucking way to celebrate Christmas, baby. Wouldn't grandma have just loved a nice Christmas ornament wrapped up in a box that, had she put it in blue light too, would have been smothered in baby oil and prostitute gunk? My God, today. So I'm thinking to myself, where is he the victim at exactly when he constantly describes being willing to endure all of this for a paycheck? This is why you don't do interviews when you have cases, when you have open cases. This is why lawyers do not like their clients. Okay? Oh my God. I'm loving this look. I look like a damn werewolf, child. Oh, I love it. This is why attorneys don't like their clients yabba dabba damn doing. Shut your mouth. You talk too much, ho. You never shut up. Shut that trap. Because all Cassie and Diddy gotta have their attorneys doing is run a transcription on Tasha Coochie K's video, girl. Your own interview is going to be their entire defense, girl. You were compliant, you were willing, and you had personal motive. You weren't coerced, you weren't dragged. To your own words, you knew exactly where you were getting into it, and you knew exactly why you were doing all of this. And it was because the money was real. That's what you done said. This 2019 call, he said, he believes was in reference to a potential freak-off with Young Miami because of the circumstances at that time. But he never got to really finish that story and why it did not happen. says that he never orgasmed off of XCX with Cassie because she was loose due to the baby oil. So he suffered blue balls the entire time. That he would go sleep with random women at the bar just to release because he could never nut off of Cassie. Says that he's a preacher's kid. And I'm thinking, of course. He said that she allegedly gave him chlamydia in 2015. Says from that point on, he chose to use condoms with her. And I'm thinking, sir, why would you not just go find you an application to put into McDonald's, baby? You already was doing illegal things. Then you was willing to have unprotected sex with a random woman, because Cassie is a random woman. And was reckless about that is you knew she was also actively in a relationship. So you didn't know anything about Diddy's sexual proclivities, what his personal sexual behavior was outside of Cassie. So you were taking a chance every time you went into her raw, getting her pregnant, but you also ran the risk of contracting everything that exists. Make it make sense. And then you're out here in all these interviews trying to make it seem like you were a classy hoe. And we're going to get to that. Matter of fact, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Says Cassie asked him to urinate on her, and he wouldn't because he found it disgusting. Said that she was into the golden showers. Says that her and Diddy would collect his semen because Diddy would enjoy Cassie playing with his sticky icky stuff. As if it was Play-Doh. And that Diddy will also often make her drink his semen afterwards. The name of his book is Cassie, Victim or Co-Conspirator, The Story of Dave. He reiterates that Cassie is a victim of DD, but not freak-offs, that there was no actual coercion. And once again, I have to say that, sir, you wouldn't know that. And two things can be true at the same damn time. Okay? Because just like he feels, he had no choice in this. He was forced, he was trafficked. How much more then did Cassie feel she didn't have any choice? You were a back page streetwalker that could have been replaced at the drop of a dime, who could have easily just not picked up your phone, easily just not showed up and went on about your life. You, unlike Cassie, were not stuck in a 10-album deal. You, unlike Cassie, were not being forced to watch your FO videos back and being threatened to have them disseminated, which they were, and Cassie was very irate about that. Hence, the audio of her confronting one of the individuals who had witnessed one of her F-offs. Diddy wasn't attempting to extort you and your family like he did Cassie's parents, who had to take out a $20,000 loan just to keep him from exposing her. So if you can conceive yourself as a victim, despite all of this personal autonomy you have, despite all this personal agency you have, despite how you have no other connection to Cassie and Diddy other than sitting by the phone hoping that they have a $5,000 check for you to go Christmas shopping with. Unlike Cassie, who is more tethered into the situation, who is tied into business and logistics and legalities with this man, if you could still conceive of yourself as a victim, how much fucking more did Cassie not have no choice? How much more was Cassie also a victim if you could conceive yourself as one? Mr. Ex-con turned prostitute. Okay? I'm just trying to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And the pendulum swings from the left to the righty-yaddy-tighty. All right. Says Cassie is a hoe who's trying to rewrite history to reclaim her public image. Sir, if anything, all of y'all are hoes for one. Okay? If anything. There's not like a hoe and two men in this equation. If you're calling her a hoe, the reality is, bitch, you all were hoes. Diddy a hoe, Cassie a hoe, and you damn sure were a hoe. She found you out of the hoe box. She found you under a hoe's mattress. She found you already in another woman's pussy for a living. Now, I'm not saying Cassie is a hoe because I don't really like that type of terminology because, you know, we are pro-promiscuity over here. We are pro-sex positivity over here. But to his talking point, it was interesting to me that to him, Cassie, out of the three of them, was the only hoe. He never used that language to describe Diddy, who was in an entire open relationship to Cassie and had a harem of women, who, to his own point, hired, financed, and produced these freak-offs. He never used that type of terminology to describe himself. And when he did have to deal with his own prostitution, as you guys are going to hear in a few minutes, he tried to glamour it up. He tried to deodorize his prostitution. Oh, well, you know, I was a high functioning hoe. You know, I dealt with people who had means. You know, I only had one or two clients, you know, at a time. You know, I was only a sex worker for 2 years. Girl, copping a plea. Sir, you were a do-rag wearing hoe in need of a check, and it's okay. Your attempt for some reason, and let me tell you what this nigga was really giving me. And this is why he gaslighting me so bad. Because if it's one thing I can't stand, is a hotep woman and a red pill ass ninja. What we have here in the public space coming out of this Diddy trial as a perceived victim and whistleblower is a man who did have real life proximity to Diddy and Cassie, who was a real life escort for them, but who also has a red pill psychology. Now, it's interesting to me how we're going to get there, girl. CTV, don't get ahead of yourself, girl. Everything else is already ahead of you, bitch. Don't get ahead of yourself, too. Okay, we're going to get there. Because I told y'all, girl, he's pressing on my nervous system. Okay, real bad. Y'all when I'm like, stop. Hold on, where was I? Okay, yeah, says Cassie is a hoe who's trying to rewrite history to reclaim her public image. Sir, all of y'all were hoes for one. And if she's doing that, then you're doing the same thing by suing them under the new guise that you're a victim. Even though you admitted all throughout the interviews you've been in that you were happy to get paid to sleep with an attractive woman, that it was the biggest lick of your day this far. So if Cassie trying to rebrand through the lawsuit, baby, what you trying to do through the lawsuit? That you're so embarrassed by the details of all that's come out. You weren't embarrassed enough to be a goddamn convict. for whatever the fuck you was in prison doing. You weren't embarrassed to get your ass out here slinging goddamn dick after serving your time in the federal penitentiary. You weren't embarrassed, baby, when them checks were clearing, when you were catching those flights. Once again, to your words, so baby, this couldn't have got more ideal for an ex-convict than to get paid to have sex he would have had for free with a woman he was already attracted to. And yet she's trying to rebrand her image through a trial, which isn't even Cassie versus Diddy. It's the United States of the universe, bitch, versus Diddy. This isn't even her trial. These aren't even her charges. So how the fuck is she trying to rebrand? Secondly, on that note, it wasn't even Cassie who sought charges against Diddy. It was the state, ma'am. It was the federal government, Mr. Dang-a-lang. So Cassie didn't try to rewrite shit. She actually tried to settle privately with Puff. Then he caught her bluff. So she filed and got her coin within 24 hours and went away quietly after she had published all of her and Diddy's goddamn business. It was the feds who forced her to testify. She had no choice, just like Diddy's drug mule, who testified by force, not by choice. One of those likes up, y'all. Y'all know what to do. He literally admits that he, quote, sold out. He literally said this in the interview to Unwind with Cardi B's Mexican pesos. He literally said that to the bald-head wonder who was interviewing him, that he sold out. Sir, if you don't think that's going to tear up your lawsuit, girl, if you don't think you just crashed out any legit chances your civil lawsuit had, girl, if you don't think that everything said on the Tasha platform via your mouth ain't gonna be used against you in the court of civil litigation, bitch. You were so eager to run that yabba dabba do it, girl. Tasha K just sat her and her damn do-rag aside, bitch, and let you just rip and run. And I know your ass is going to run right into a dismissal. Or you're going to be forced to drop this thing, bitch, because you just ate your own litigation alive. You literally said you chose to sold out because you wanted money, even if it costed you, according to you, your real life relationship to your then girlfriend, whom you admitted to Tasha Coochie K, you skipped spending time with on y'all's anniversary to go join Cassie and Diddy and a freak off while you sitting up on this motherfucker in this frizzy ass 720p calling Cassie a motherfucking hoe. But for a whole hour, bitch, you admitted to being a convict turned prostitute who escorted for 2 years, was having unprotected sex by choice with a woman you didn't know, while also going and busting off on random ass women from the bar because you couldn't skeet off to Cassie due to the baby oil, and then admitted that you were tricking off on your long-term girlfriend behind her back to go do all this freaky, funky shit with a bunch of random ass women. And Cassie nasty, and Cassie the fucking hoe. Bitch, you done lost your motherfucking mind. You niggas done lost y'all's minds. You done lost your mind. And I'm so sad that Tasha bald head ass ain't nothing but another male identified ass cotton picking pick Misha, and she couldn't tell your ass how much you done lost your motherfucking mind because she ain't doing none of this but for a click and a goddamn view. Anyway, she got her own delinquent ass debt to pay the off. But if you done lost your motherfucking mind, Lost your mind. The audacity, girl, to have chronicled all your own Harani Ho adventures in just 1 hour's worth of time, and then try to make yourself look like a distinguishable gentleman while constantly keeping your big ass ex-con foot on Cassie's little frail, feminine, and dainty throat. Now, it might be riddled with oral STIs, but her throat is nonetheless dainty and feminine. Why is your whole ass foot there? Bitch, Cassie need to turn around and say, is this the thanks that I get for putting you bitches on? Is it my fault that all of you bitches gone? Should have sent a thank you note, you little hoe. Now I'ma wrap your coffin what about. That's what the hell Cassie ass need to go live, bitch, and scream to the top of the mountains, girl. It's just the thanks that she putting the ex-con out there already doing criminal things, giving him good, hard-earned, working pussy to fuck. And this what you do? This what you gonna do to her? My God, today. Get into this. Hold on, y'all. Run those likes up, run those likes up, run those likes up. Get into this here. Let me tell you how much of a bird brain this is, girl. Okay? When the male pattern baldness had set in, girl, it must have had balded his brain, girl. It must have had balded his cerebral cortex as well, girl. Check this out here. He says that Cassie assaulted him. Let me articulate what he describes as a legal assault. He says that Cassie assaulted him by painting his penis with menstrual blood because he didn't know that she was on her menstrual cycle. Says he was pissed. Claims that Cassie said in response to painting his penis with menstrual blood, so what? Which caused him and her to argue and him to call her all up and out of her motherfucking name every type of chin-ho in the vernacular. But to Cassie's point, so what? Because what you could be doing is whatever you were doing to get locked up the first time and be down there getting fucked in your ass on cell block 8 by Big Dick Derek for a motherfucking white honey bun. So what if the price of your freedom and 5 bands is a little menstrual? What? So I would have said the same thing. So what? And made it rain and did. Bitch. Don't act like you got somewhere else better to be, bitch, because you out there fucking pussy for a couch to sleep on before I found you, bitch. You was fucking pussy for the back seat of somebody's G-Wagon. You were fucking pussy, bitch, to go pitch a tent out in somebody's driveway for the night, bitch. This the most you ever got in return, bitch, for some dick. A little menstrual blood and girl, where's the gratitude of it all? Okay, I'm with Cassie on this one, girl. Where's the gratitude? Girl, we plucked you out of them Dade County slums, honey. Gave you a roof and a working AC for a few nights and sent you back home with enough money, baby, to last a few months, especially if you on subsidized housing, baby. 5 stacks should be able to last your ass, baby, until the next 4-day freak off, bitch. Where is the gratitude? He said him and her began to argue, girl, when his penis was leaking her crucifixion blood. Says that Diddy had calmed the situation down, mediated the situation, and gave him 5 stacks to stop arguing. Says Cassie apologized the next day, claims that she was drunk and horny. Sir, what you described wasn't assault. It was nasty. But it wasn't no motherfucking assault, bitch. You getting painted because a woman is on her period, girl, is not legal assault, sir. All right? Stop putting 20 on 2.5, Mr. Sold Out. Says that's how he knew that she was lying about Diddy forcing her to endure freak-offs through her period. Sir, once again, she could have been describing other freak-offs with other XEX workers. To your point, right? And by clear evidence at this point, you weren't the only one, as you learned. So how the hell you know that there were times that she didn't want to do a damn freak-off? And Diddy was coercing her and forcing her and strong-arming her to do one when she had a plethora of G.I. Joe figurines to her disposal. So how the hell you know? On one hand, you recognize that she's a hoe. On one hand, you arguing that she deceived you. On one hand, you mad because you weren't the only one, but at the same time, you articulate yourself as if you was her only experience. So when she's up on that stand talking about all type of damn shit she experienced, do you not consider that she's talking about other occasions with other men because you weren't her only dick in a glass? Huh? Says that he kind of feels bad for Diddy, of course. Of course, this male identified as hobosexual, of course, feels bad for Diddy. Of course, Diddy would be the victim in this case. Cassie can't be a victim at all. Cassie just got to be a gold-digging ass young thought, a young 304 looking for her big come up. Of course, he gets to be the victim. Of course, Diddy gets to be the victim. Cassie just gets to be a nasty asshole. Not to mention that when he went on about how nasty it was for her to let niggas golden shower her, did you forget the part that Diddy liked it? And once again, there's no criticism for Diddy. There's no criticism for how nasty Diddy is. For enjoying watching his women ran through by random men off the damn streets, unprotected. And then he go run up in her, unprotected. No criticism for none of Diddy's behavior. No criticism for how old Diddy was relative to Cassie's age. Never conceived Cassie of being young and dumb and easily impressionable and possibly groomed. Baby, the way he criticizes Cassie, you would have thought Cassie was 47 years old at the time that she met Diddy. Bitch, she was 19. 19 when she met Diddy. She didn't even want the nigga initially when he started coming on to her. But he persisted and he weighed her down. And considering that he was a successful, competent man, this is before she knew he was a raging maniac. He was a raging narcissist. This is before she knew he was a raging drug addict. This was before she knew he was a raging nympho. At surface, Diddy was just a successful black man. He was black excellence. The type of man that women are raised to get on the radar of. Find you a man with means. Find you a man with power. Find you a man who can do something with you. At surface glance, before you know about Diddy's dark side, Diddy checks off positively on all those boxes. She was 19. You don't think that a nigga of Diddy's stature and legacy and tax bracket wasn't going to be able to appeal to Cassie eventually? Hell, he would have appealed to any damn body. He appealed to every other damn Jane Doe and Young Miami. He damn sure was going to be able to weigh down a 19-year-old girl who's highly ambitious and who thinks that everything that she wants could possibly be tied up in this man who's adoring her. A man that not only can make her career happen, but a man that could also wife her, be a father, be a great husband and lover to her. And Diddy, just like he did with Young Miami and did with all the other Jane Does, appealed to all of those things, making these women feel special, making them feel like they were headed somewhere, making them feel like they were his eighth world wonder, and then boom, bitch, the ball drops. The ball drops. That's how it always is with a narcissist. But he feels bad for Diddy because all these women, all of Diddy's angels, are a bunch of bitter ex-girlfriends. Yet, simultaneously, out of the other side of his cock blower, acknowledges Diddy as an abuser and Cassie as a victim of DD, not a freak-offs, but a DD. Dude literally talking out of both sides of the anus he claims he never gave to Shauna Combs. Says Diddy did try him. Says on one occasion, Diddy and him and Cassie were on the balcony, and him and Cassie, I guess, were freaking off. And Diddy started complimenting his naked, nude body. Then says on another occasion, Diddy asked him if he was GAY, if he was like Consciouztv, while they were alone. And this was also following the aftermath of a freak-off. And at this point, Diddy and Mr. Dangling were in the living room, and Diddy was at the piano trying to serenade his ass with a harp, while Cassie was in the bathroom wiping Dangling's semen off of her genitals. He said while Cassie was in the restroom, Diddy asked him if he was GAY. He says he cussed Diddy ass the hell out, and Diddy gave him money to shut up. And you know what he did? He shut his ass right on up. Oh, baby. This interview is going to tear your little lawsuit up so bad. It's going to tear your little lawsuit up so bad, sir. I think he's representing is he representing a pro se? Hold on, let me check. Let me make sure I'm getting my legal terminology, girl. Let me see here. Because I'm still here. Yep, pro se. I think he's representing pro se. Pro se. No wonder he's making a disaster out of the way he's navigating his situation. He talks about another incident during a freak off. In 2015, says that Diddy started giving Cassie oral, sex, and told him to keep masturbating. But he says Diddy's peen was obstructing his view of Cassie's kitty cat, which was distracting him because he didn't want to see none of that, according to him. It looked like to me he wanted to see every damn thing based upon what he looked like. He looked like the world's oldest girl, if you ask me. Then he says Diddy tooted his ass up twice in his direction, blocking his view once again with Diddy's cheeks on display right in front of his face. Says he checked Diddy and asked him to stop with that shit and that he's in the way and he don't want to see none of that. He said Diddy acquiesced and went back to the corner to watch. But once him and Cassie started having intercourse, Diddy told them to stop. And then he says he was asked to leave the room while Diddy and Cassie had a little chit chat. He said he was in this hallway with an erect penis still turned up, ready to bust Cassie guts down. He was zooted and booted, girl, ready for it all. And says, now mind you, this is the same person who got a lawsuit for coercion, got a lawsuit for trafficking, got a lawsuit for force and manipulation. Yet you're in an interview admitting that you are happy to get paid to have sex with a woman you were authentically attracted to. You speak about even being mad that Diddy cut this freak off short to have a little pep talk with Cassie because you was ready to get back to the business you out here claiming traumatized your ass. Make it make damn sense. Or am I the only one who can? Am I the only content creator who be making it make sense? Are we one of the few platforms that actually listens to the shit that comes out of people's mouth, that does the uno, who does the math? Uno, dos, cinco, tres. Are we the only ones who be doing it? Does everybody else be falling for this shit? How you got a lawsuit, sir? And you in a whole interview, girl, telling the actual truth about how happy and eager you was during this whole 8-year period with Diddy and Cassie, to the point that you didn't even hear from them for 2 years. And yet, bitch, you almost lost your employment answering the phone for Diddy in 2019 when he was interested in you coming out for another freak off and said you was very interested in doing so because it was around Christmas time and you could use the money. Make it make sense. This ninja is a red-nosed clown. And I know he probably got his goofy, big dick ass hovering in the chat, girl. But let me tell you something, baby. Unlike Tisha Tales, baby, I don't end up in lawsuits. That's why I be diligent in quoting you niggas. That's why I listen to what comes out of you this mouth, baby. So we can debunk any type of lawsuit coming to CTV's way at any moment, baby. Okay? That's why I run you niggas y'all own narratives back. Baby, so that you can't say CTV said it. Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, baby. We gonna say what Dangalang said. And then we gonna show Dangalang through the process of elimination how he was canceled before he even got active, about how he lost before he even got a chance to win, because he didn't really think the shit through. Let me see here. Okay, Diddy was throwing that ass in a circle. Says that while he was out in the hallway, while Diddy and Cassie was having a little pep talk, and he was out there with a hard peen, ready to. He says Cassie comes out and tells him he gotta go, and he's having a fit. Like, what you mean I gotta go? I'm ready to use this prison penis on you. What you talking about? For somebody who was coerced, for somebody who was forced. For somebody who was so traumatized, you weren't happy when they called off a freak off? You weren't elated? You weren't running to the door? Oh no, he was having a fit, baby, when the freak-offs got disrupted. Says Cassie told him he got to go and tells him that he passed. He said he didn't know initially what that meant until he looked back in retrospect and did the Easter eggs and the Blues Clues and put it all together and realized that what Cassie meant by he passed, even though he had to fucking go home, was that he didn't fall for Diddy trying to entice him into Diddy's pussy hole. He had passed the GAY test. Now, I don't know whether Diddy was genuinely trying to entice that damn man and trying to invite him into his guts, and Diddy would have been throwing that ass back in doggy style on Dangalang while having Diddy's face stuck in between Cassie's legs, because that sound like a real interesting time, girl. Okay? Or rather, that was the story that Diddy and Todd had came up with to tell Cassie in order to excuse his homoeroticism that was jumping up out of his ass that he couldn't suppress no more because he was over in that corner with that heated up glossing and baby oil, baby, ready to get fucked and doing the damn fucking. And said, you know what? Just so the nigga don't blow our cover, baby. Tell that nigga that was a pass, that he was being tested, girl. Don't let him know that I really want him up in his ass crack. Okay? Who knows what the truth is? Says Cassie conned him by making him believe that he was the only one, even though he was a whole prostitute. Even though he was the one who had a whole girlfriend back home that he was lying to and going to have freak-offs behind her back on. But he was conned by Cassie, who made him believe that he was her only prostitute girl, that he's been defrauded. Can somebody come get their son? I don't know who eldest son this is in the chat, baby. But can you please go get your damn son? Okay? He out here setting black men's community back, girl. By 30 years, bitch. Okay? If Mama Dangalang in the chat, baby, come and get your son. Come and get his crusted lips. Baby, this man's so pressed, girl. He out there foaming all out the sides and cracks of his motherfucking mouth, bitch. I couldn't help but think that it was Cassie's coochie juice that was still residually, girl, oozing out of the cracks and corners of his mouth. You gonna see it for you. Oh, you gonna see it for yourself. You gonna see it. You gonna see it. Now he says that she conned him into believing that he was her only prostitute, but he had forgotten once again that he had admitted in the same interview that he was lying to his own girlfriend and doing these freak-offs behind her back and actively sleeping with random women at the bar, which I'm sure he wasn't telling Diddy and Cassie about. I'm sure he wasn't telling Cassie and Diddy. I can't get a nut off to this, so I'm going to go ahead down to the bar for the next 5 days and have random freak-offs with any woman I can pick up with just to rub one out. This man forgot he wasn't in no damn relationship. Literally said he wasn't in a relationship. Said he wasn't in love, but for some reason thought that he was the only one. Excuse me, sir. When you got the job, Diddy said you were the best one, not the only one. Okay? Now, just because, girl, you wasn't clear about the semantics of it all, just because you weren't clear about the semantics of it all, Diddy never said you were the only one. He said you were the best one. Okay? Make it make sense. Okay? And he was lying to his own girlfriend, doing freak-offs behind her back, and actively sleeping with random women at the bar just to nut yet he's more moral and less nasty than Cassie is. Sir, get the fuck out of here. Bitch, bye. Now let me show you one of the very interesting live streams that this man has done, girl. Since filing his lawsuit, girl, he claimed he didn't want to be in the public eye. He claimed, girl, this man done been on TMZ, Radar Online, Unwind with all of Cardi B's damn lawsuit money. This man done been everywhere he could be, bitch, including on IG Live, TikTok, Facebook Live, MySpace, bitch, Twitch, girl. Girl, he produced an album, girl. Okay? Check this shit out. Now, this is probably where he about to trigger me up real bad. Oh, girl, now let me tell you, girl, that's a face that only ketamine could love. Girl, that is a face that only pink cocaine could love, baby. I told y'all, girl, if you look at the mug shots and the compilation of all of Cassie's prostitutes, girl, you can tell when she went from sober to starting to descend, girl, into addiction, girl. She had lost all her sense of taste and preference, bitch. You could tell, girl, when she started losing it, child. Hold on, let me refresh this. Hold on. Y'all run them lights up because I'm working, girl. All donation information is in the description box. If you enjoying it, girl. Y'all saw how I had to work, girl. I had to come up here and look like a werewolf for y'all. Sit up underneath all these studio lights. Take 17 damn pages worth of motherfucking notes. Okay? Had to perform, had to be entertaining, had to be informative, had to be factual, girl. Show the king some love. Okay? And run the lights up. And don't hesitate to thumbs up. And show some love to the Cash App and PayPal. Oh, hold on. I gotta turn them up, volume up, child. Oh, Lord, bless his mama, child. Oh, girl. Oh, do y'all see the white stuff, girl? Y'all see the white stuff? Wait, let me take it out. Y'all see the white stuff? Oh my. Baby, you can't be talking about nobody else, baby. You can't be talking about nobody else, girl. When your mouth look like it ain't seen Listerine, baby, since Jesus walked. You can't be talking when it look like you still got Diddy's nut, baby, on the bottom of your lip, baby. You can't be talking like that. You can't be talking no shit. Girl, when you got residual man cum on your lips, baby. Okay? You talking so much shit that your mouth can't even contain it, girl. Can't do it.
For damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it.
Oh my God, hold on, I'm doing too much.
So good morning. I am
back.
Dave, the man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment.
Girl, if you would look in the mirror, you will understand why the room was completely dark. If you looked in the mirror, you would be able to understand why she had to manipulate the lighting, why she had to manipulate the oxygen levels in the room, why she had to edit all of the room settings. Girl, like, all you got to do is just look at you to understand why the lights had to be completely and utterly off, girl. The only light reflecting had to be off of the baby oil.
What she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you. But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on the course of revenge should dig 2 graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura while she was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male prostitute sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well. And I was an ex-con. I needed money. I was trapped in the situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. And for those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's how.
Girl, there are so many issues with everything that this man caught himself doing. Girl, you could have really kept this to yourself, girl. To everybody's point in the comment section, girl, I feel like I was listening to a manosphere podcaster, girl. Did y'all hear all of the little micro-aggressive, misogynistic shit that he was saying, talking about, oh, she was hormonally imbalanced due to her period. This is him inciting this patriarchal notion that women are emotional, therefore irrational, are bound by their feelings, cannot operate in any objectivity, etc. And then he tried to actually make himself an equivalent to women in a patriarchy who have to constantly endure harassment, actual harassment, and actual assault from walking to their car in a parking lot to coming off of a bus to go home to workplace SA and harassment. And this man, as a convicted felon turned prostitute, tried to make himself a equivalent of what happens to women every day. Sir, you are not the shining example of what women experience every day. Most women are not ex-cons. Most women are not motherfucking prostitutes. You are not a victim after you just sat on a platform and salivated and articulated about why you participated in these freak offs for money, why you enjoyed doing this with Miss Cassie Ventura because she was attractive, and why you continued to take their phone calls after you had been minstreled on, after you had been this, that, and the third, after you had witnessed this woman get beaten 5 times in your presence, and yet your pussy hoe ass wasn't man enough to do anything about it the 5 times you witnessed domestic violence. You said Diddy on one occasion gave her a 1-2 so hard in her chest that she flew across the room and into the wall. And yet, you remain faithful to the Diddy Cassie Diddy universe because of the money. What's crazy about that is Cassie left before you left. Because remember, when you got that 2019 call from him to come out to Miami for a freak off, remember, you said he was with Young Miami. You stayed longer than she did. You were still on payroll. You were still, baby, on Backpage. You were still in Diddy's back pocket, even after Cassie was long gone. Even after Cassie had done been replaced 12 times over. You was willing to be with the shits no matter who the she was involved. Because you were clear that as an ex-con turned prostitute, this was an ideal lick. And now you sitting somewhere trying to justify suing Cassie because she, quote unquote, lied on a man that a jury, in light of all the evidence, found guilty of at least 2 of those 5 federal charges. So who in fact are you the fuck mad at, bitch? You act like Diddy is home. You act like Diddy been fully acquitted. And you act like it was Cassie versus Sean Carter Combs. When it was the USA, when it was the state of New York, when it was the federal government versus Diddy, not Cassie versus Diddy. You should just stay off the internet. You should stop talking, even though you've already put your foot in your mouth. And from the looks of everything that was coming out of your mouth, it looked like you had just got done with your foot before you even had went live. Sir, you have embarrassed yourself. You've squashed your own litigation. Every fucking lawsuit you've done sounds exactly like the one you did with Tasha Coochie K. It is so self-incriminating and completely contrary to the way you're trying to paint yourself in the situation, in the complaints. And all they're going to have to do, baby, is run all of your own words back, bitch. Oh, yes. And I can only imagine if you were dumb enough to get out here and incriminate yourself to the extremity in which you did while having an active open lawsuit. I can only imagine how much more you did your dumbass self in this book. I can only imagine it. You are obviously a man without leadership, without guidance, without a mentor. Girl, you have made a fool out of yourself, a red-nosed clown. Girl, the biggest clown show has officially rolled into town. If anybody is not a victim out of you and Cassie, it is definitely not the ex-con who turned prostitute in order to pay his bills after serving time in the federal penitentiary. You definitely were not a man who was turned out. Baby, you came into this thing experienced, unlike Cassie, who was a 19-year-old girl embarking upon what she thought was a romantic relationship, also to a man who could change her life. See, unlike you and Cassie didn't meet the freak off Diddy initially. Cassie didn't meet the abuser initially. She met the successful Black excellence hip hop icon. What you met, though, was the icon who was outsourcing for prostitutes because he had a fetish for watching his young girlfriend be slutted out. What you met was the icon who was secretly abusing and beating his girlfriend behind the curtains, behind the fourth wall of truth. See, at least Cassie had to be love bombed and had to be lied to and conditioned, and she had to really be processed through to end up where she was. Baby, you came in eyes wide open. What was your excuse to stay? If Cassie had options, how much more does a washed up back page hooker like yourself, sir, how much more freedom and autonomy did you have? I just want to know. I want to know. I hope that the judge tears your ass a new one. You are not the face of male victims. There is no male victimhood here. Everything you argued for Cassie, why would she say, is equally questions you have to ask your motherfucking self after you claim to have been so outraged by a woman who had the nerve to not tell you she was on her cycle and painted you. All the questions you have for Cassie while she will remain, you will have to ask yourself to explain why you will continue to indulge in sex with a woman who you claim gave you chlamydia. And all you did was slap a condom on it. Oh, I take that back. You continued to nut in her. and for years, instead of finding you something else to do, instead of finding you a highway to go pick garbage up off of. For every single argument you thought you were making against Cassie to illegitimize the narrative prosecution tried to paint Cassie in is equally those same talking points, sir, that same logic, sir, that same rationale, sir, illegitimizes your entire argument, which is why you would have been better keeping your mouth off Cassie, filing this lawsuit against Diddy and Cassie, and just staying quiet. But now that you done got out here, because you clearly got a wild hair up your ass for Cassie all of a sudden, you act like Diddy also isn't on that lawsuit you filed. You did a whole 2-minute live stream with your insides oozing out of your damn mouth, going in on Cassie as if it's not a Cassie and Diddy exclusive, as if there even would have been a Cassie without there being a Diddy. It's clear you got some mommy fractures and some woman fractures and some female fractures, and unfortunately Cassie is just taking the heat, baby, for all this undealt with feminine trauma that you ain't healed up. But you probably about to learn the hard way, baby, that you want to have your shit together when you want to call holding the divine feminine accountable, because Cassie's winning. Bitch, if anything, I would say it make more sense given the circumstances to be afraid of fucking with Cassie more so than Diddy, because even all that Diddy has been, all that Diddy chose to be, all that Diddy aspired to be, all that Diddy accumulated couldn't keep his ass away from the wrath of a Cassie who single-handedly snuffed 30 million out of his motherfucking ass and got his ass in prison until October the 3rd for sentencing. If anything, sir, you might have fucked around and found out by fucking with the wrong one out of the two ones in this situation. Cassie seems to be the big dog, baby. I'm not sure how well this gonna work out for you. And once again, I'm not here to say Cassie is an angel. I'm not here to say that Cassie is completely innocent and doesn't have complicity and have accountability in the situation. I'm just here to call you specifically out on the contradictions and hypocrisies that came off of your saliva-filled mouth, baby. I'm here to just give you the play-by-play on how you fucked your own lawsuit straight in the ass, no lube. Okay? You should have known, Mr. Dangling, that even this lawsuit was going to require massive lubricating by baby oil. You done went and shot some shit out of your ass, and I done got out here and talked completely contrary to your own lawsuit, girl. And still out here doubling down because you don't have a legal counsel to tell you to sit your black ass down. So I will be keeping up with your personal litigation. I'm going to be very curious now that you've been out here on these press tours to see how all of this shit is going to cripple your litigation, to see how long this litigation even lasts, to see if you can even get this shit up off the ground, bitch. Because you remind me of that Brazilian hot air balloon, bitch, that just went down immediately, girl. Like the basket just immediately detached, girl, from the balloon, girl. That's what your lawsuit is giving me, girl. It's on the way down real fast and in a real big fury and blaze. Okay? So shout out to Tasha Coochie K for doing anything for a Klondike bar, but not calling this man's fuckery and foolishness out, girl, for sitting there acting like he was making a lot of motherfucking sense, girl. But considering the situation and circumstance she in, bitch, were we to expect anything different? Hell no. I ain't even had time to get into the chat because I had to get up here and refer to 17 damn pages worth of damn notes. We already done been here for 2 hours. I don't want to make the live stream any longer, but I got to get out of here. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section, baby. Get all that started, baby. Run me all of that. Because based upon what you guys' feedback is and y'all thoughts are and what y'all have extracted from the Fool-La-La, we may have to come back and do a part 2 and get into some of y'all's sentiments. All right? Please run those likes up, share, subscribe if you're new here. And once again, of course, you can follow all handles to my Instagram, etc. in the description box below, and show some love to Cash App and PayPal. All information is on the screen and in the description box below. And I will see you all later. Bye.